had been at least 3 youths in the cab of that truck and others riding in back. Without restraints, those in the back could have been thrown quite some distance from the vehicle. It only remained to find them. Eventually, Heath's attention came to rest on the pickup again. As he studied it, he could almost hear the scream of tires grabbing for traction, then the crunch of metal as the truck plunged over the embankment and flipped end over end. He tried to shove the images from his mind, but they seemed to have a root system equal to that of the lofty pine that clung so tenaciously to the slope below him. Memories. They always haunted him at the scene of an automobile accident, but never quite so cruelly as when he looked at that old Ford truck with its chipped blue paint. A flare on the asphalt behind Heath emitted a soft hissing sound that reminded him of compressed air seeping slowly from a tire. Kaleidoscopic flashes of red and blue came from the light bars of the county vehicles parked on the shoulder of the road. Diluted by sunshine, the rhythmic rotation of colors blurred together to create an ethereal, muted mauve that lent a strange, pink brilliance to everything. It was like staring through heat waves with rose-colored glasses. A burst of voices from one of the radios snapped Heath back to the moment. If he meant to get this accident report finished before the news hounds arrived, he needed to get cracking. Bracing the clipboard on his left palm, he used the information on the driver's licenses he'd found inside the 2 victims' wallets to fill in their names, ages, and physical descriptions. In the photos, neither youth looked old enough to shave, let alone die. His hand shook slightly as he recorded the last entry, the tip of his pen squiggling below the line. Emotional detachment. Every lawman knew it was necessary to perform his job. Unfortunately, it wasn't always easy to turn off your feelings. Sighing, he returned the pen to his shirt pocket and set the clipboard on the bumper of one of the cars so it would be handy later. After fishing a tape measure and piece of chalk from his trouser pocket, Heath signaled down to Tom Moore, the deputy closest to him. "I need a hand up here." As Moore struggled to climb the steep embankment, Heath found himself wishing he'd asked one of the other deputies to help him. Moore wasn't exactly one of his favorite people. In the 6 months since he'd been sworn in, the younger lawman had stirred up trouble more times than not with his overzealous dedication to law enforcement. He was the kind of deputy who would slap cuffs on a 4-year-old for stealing a 2-cent Tootsie Roll. Even worse, he expected a pat on the back for a job well done. To add insult to injury, Moore made no secret of the fact that he had his sights set on Heath's job. That was frightening. Moore was state certified to do police work, but that didn't mean he had what it took to be a good cop. In Moore's case, though, that probably wouldn't matter. When your daddy was the local mayor, strings got pulled and doors were opened. It also made it difficult for your boss to fire your ass, even if you damned well deserved it. Having been raised and tutored by a successful politician didn't hurt Deputy Moore's prospects in county law enforcement either. He'd cut his teeth on campaign tactics, and he honestly seemed to believe that political opportunism was an addendum to the Golden Rule. Heath had never known anyone who could so easily manipulate a situation to work in his favor or suck up to a camera with so much charm. At first, Heath had been secretly amused by Deputy Moore's aspirations to become the sheriff. In his opinion, the citizens of Wainema County would be better served if they pinned the badge on an orangutan. Now, however, Heath was no longer laughing. Moore missed no opportunity to make a name for himself, and he had no compunction about making Heath look as bad as he possibly could in the process. The deputy's breathing was labored by the time he gained the shoulder of the road. Panting, he leaned over and braced his hands on his slightly bent knees. "That's one steep puppy, I'll tell you."